The River Caves is the second oldest operational attraction at Blackpool Pleasure Beach, having opened in 1905, just 9 years after the park had opened. Originally, this attraction was known as the River Caves of the World and opened at a cost of £3,000. It's the third dark ride attraction at Blackpool Pleasure Beach to be featured in our newly created The History of series, here on Pleasure Beach Experience YouTube. So far, we have covered the Ghost Train and Alice in Wonderland as far as the dark ride attractions go.
According to sources, the River Caves was an American export, brought to the Pleasure Beach following its time at Coney Island and at the Earl's Court Exhibition Centre in the UK. The River Caves was described as an educational simulation of journeys through a selection of brightly coloured caves from around the world. Whilst the journey through the ride has mostly remained the same, the facade and scenery inside of the ride has changed significantly over the years, with scenes replaced or modernised to keep the attraction moving with the times whilst keeping its purpose.
Percy Metcalfe, rarely mentioned in Blackpool Pleasure Beach's history, worked with the park between the 1930s and 1950s alongside Joseph Emberton to redesign and modernise areas of Blackpool Pleasure Beach. In the 1950s, Percy Metcalfe helped redesign the River Caves to give it a new look. The makeover was described as a Mayan theme, completely different to the original facade, which resembled the opening of a giant cave with a magnificent waterfall.
Geoffrey Thompson became the managing director of the Pleasure Beach in 1976 and was keen to carry out plans his father, Leonard Thompson, had put together for redesigning or modernising some of the River Caves scenes. Those plans included adding a new scene featuring the Angkor Wat temples. The plans were inspired by Leonard Thompson's visit to Cambodia shortly before he passed away. It's reported that Geoffrey Thompson formed a worthy tribute to his father's plans with the redesigned River Caves.
In the 1990s, Blackpool Pleasure Beach featured in a BBC documentary made up of 6 episodes. In one of those episodes, the River Caves was featured throughout due to some mischievous behaviour from the park's staff. It was a known joke amongst staff to cause soap suds to form in the ride's trough. This would cause the water levels to rise and soap suds to be spilling out of the trough. Whilst it may sound like harmless fun, it wasn't a good look for the ride from a management perspective and did impact on the operations of the ride, including safety aspects. So whilst amusing to watch on the documentary, it's easy to see why it caused a big headache for the park at the time.
One of the more recent changes to the River Caves came in time for the 2012 season, inside of the Blue Grotto scene. The interaction between the River Caves, the gold mine and Magnolia Cafe was gone forever, with the permanent closure of the gold mine. The gold mine had closed at the end of 2011 and remained closed through to its removal, ready for a rebrand about a man and his dog, but that's for another day. The old Blue Grotto scene was a lovely setting midway through the ride. It was atmospheric, with low lighting and a soundtrack softly playing in the background. Even the sounds of the gold mine from above, or the voices of guests in a Magnolia Cafe watching over the River Caves, didn't disrupt the atmospheric scene.
Did you know the River Caves played a small part in Blackpool Pleasure Beach's Journey to Hell Halloween event in October 2019? One of the staff tunnels used to form part of the scare attraction led out of the doorway in the River Cave station next to the Tunnel of Love sign. The Tunnel of Love sign is a relic of the River Caves' appearance in the UK's popular soap opera known as Coronation Street. It featured when the story being told was one of the soap's characters being taken through a tunnel of love by an unwanted admirer.
Guests enter the River Cave beneath a large sign and a rocky facade. From there, guests will pass through the Cattle Pen Queue area, which features a variety of small scenes giving a preview of what you might see whilst riding the River Caves. The queue area is fairly small and quickly leads to the loading platform. The boats aren't particularly comfortable, consisting of 3 wooden benches with no backrests and without a grab rail. Riders on the River Caves must be at least 132 centimetres tall if unaccompanied by an adult. However, if accompanied by an adult, if your child can walk, then they can join you on the River Caves.
The River Caves starts by taking riders through the Tunnel of Love, setting off on a journey through various scenes of the world. The first scene is Mysterious China, followed by the Land of the Dinosaurs, and then the Depths of the Ocean. Following on from there is the Jungle of Africa, which still feels like a fairly new scene, even though it has been as it is for a while now. Moving on from there is the magnificent Inca civilization scene. From there is the Blue Grotto scene, which was very different prior to the closure of the gold mine. And from there it's the wondrous ancient Egypt scene before reaching the finale, which features the temples of Angkor Wat. As riders exit the Angkor Wat scene, they're taken through a small tunnel before dropping down into a light splash zone and back to the loading point of the ride.
In 2016, the River Caves facade was changed mid-season, with a small themed scene being removed. It has not since been replaced, but hopefully will be in the future, with a redesign of the facade, as the ride has had many times in its long history.
And there we have it, a brief look at the history of the River Caves at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. My sources for this video include the Riding on Rainbows book, More Than Just an Amusement Park book, and the Century of Fun book. Unfortunately, I have been unable to source the details about the current facade design and when it was changed to how it is today. If you do know when this was changed, please let us know in the comments section below. What's your favourite memory of the River Caves at Blackpool Pleasure Beach? Would you like to see any modernisation carried out on it in the near future? Be sure to let us know in the comments below. Before you do go, please give this video a like. Can we get 200 likes on this video? Many thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon in the next Pleasure Beach Experience video.